Thank you for joining me for yet another unboxing video, and today we have more Pathfinder RPG goodness. This time we're going to be talking about the Pathfinder Condition Card Deck for the second edition of the rule set. And this deck contains 108 cards. Critical conditions. Is your group's fighter paralyzed by a devious ghoul? Did the rogue become invisible? Or was an unfortunate alchemist struck down, slipping closer to death? Pass out these cards to make remembering the rules simple. These 108 cards include rules for the Pathfinder 2nd Edition conditions, with prominent reminder text you can read at a glance. Multiple copies of the most critical conditions mean there are enough for the whole table, and a set of tracking cards lets you easily monitor condition values and the duration. This was released in 2019, brought to you by our great friends over at Pazio. For more information, go to pazio.com/Pathfinder. Okay, there's the retail value price for this card deck. Okay, so let's crack this bad boy open and see what kind of goodness we have on the inside. We have 2 decks of cards. So let's go down here and take a look what they are. So we'll start off with the old instructions. As always, I'll start off with cutting the cards open off camera so no one sees that in case I slip. All right, so we've got our instructions. So let's take a look at, so there's 2 cards right off the bat. So it says instructions. Pathfinder condition cards make conditions easier to track. Each card includes a brief summary of the condition effects in large text at the bottom, where a more detailed description in a smaller text on the card. The full rules appear on pages 618 to 623 of the Pathfinder Core Rulebook. The box includes tracking cards used alongside those conditions that make use of condition values. Each tracking card has one side to monitor condition values and another for durations. Place this card under the condition card with the current condition value or duration exposed just under the bottom border of the condition card. Then slide the card upward 1 notch when the value or duration increases, or downward 1 notch if it increases. There's an example of it. Again, if you prefer not to use the tracking cards, each card that has a condition value also includes a space to write in the value. This works best if you put a clear card sleeve over the card and write on the value with a dry or wet erase marker. Again, this came out in 2019. That's a licensing agreement that we don't need to show you. Okay, so let's take a look. Let's take a look at some of these values that we have here. Okay, again, we're going to have a lot of duplicates because, again, they're to be shared with all the players on the table. So we got, let's see, so -4 perception. All normal terrain is difficult. So we have a front and a back. So we have blinded. Treat all normal terrain as difficult terrain. If you critically fail perception checks that require you to be able to see, you take a -4 status penalty per perception checks. You are immune to visual effects. Okay, front and back are the same. So blinded, blinded. We've got broken. A broken object can't be used for its normal function, nor does it grant its normal bonuses. Broken armor still grants its item bonuses, but it also gives you a status penalty to armor class. -1 for light, -2 for medium, and -3 for heavy. Item doesn't function or grant bonuses. So that's a broken item. You've turned clumsy. Take a status penalty equal to the value on all dexterity-based checks and DCs, such as AC reflex saves, dexterity-based attack rolls, and skill checks for acrobatic, stealth, and thievery. -blank to dex-based rolls and DCS. So that's clumsy. A couple of those. Concealed. A creature that you've concealed from must succeed at a DC 5 flat check when targeting you. Area effects aren't subject to this flat check. If the check fails, the attack, spell, or effect doesn't affect you. DC 5 flat check to target you. All right, that's concealed. You are now confused. I am confused. You're flat-footed. Don't treat anyone as your ally and can't use reactions, delay, or ready. All your actions are determined by the GM, Game Master. You use your actions to attack or cast offensive cantrips. The target is determined randomly by the GM. If you have no other viable targets, you automatically hit yourself. When damaged by an attack or spell, you can attempt a DC 11 flat check to end this condition. Attack indiscriminately, DC 11 flat check to end when you take damage. Controlled, someone else chooses all of your actions for you. So I like that. You've got the title, you've got the information, and then underneath it, you've got a brief explanation of what the card says in detail. That's pretty cool. You're dazzled. Everything is concealed from you. This means you must succeed at a DC 5 flat check or to target anything. You're deafened. You automatically critically fail perception checks that require you to be able to hear. You take -2 status penalty to perception checks for initiative and checks that involve sound but also rely on other senses. If you perform an action with the auditory trait, you must succeed at a DC 5 flat check or the action is lost. You are immune to auditory effects. All right, so that's deafened. So I'm not going to read the box anymore. I'm just going to read the bottom part. So it says doomed minus blank for max dying value. Drained minus blank to con-based rolls, constitution-based rolls, and DCSs. Lose hit points level times value. You're dying. That's a dying. So you're unconscious. At dying for you die. Roll recovery check at the start of each of your turns. Critical success decreased by 2. Success decreased by 1. Failure increased by 1. Critical failure increased by 2. If you take damage, increase dying by 1 or 2 if it's a form of enemy's critical hit of your critical failure. If you ever have 1 hit point or more, lose dying. Anytime you lose dying, gain 1 wound. Gain wounded 1 or increase your wounded value by 1. That's what dying means. Encumbered, -1 to dexterity, based rolls, and DCSs. Clumsy, -10 feet speed. Enfeebled, take a status penalty equal to the value on strength-based rolls and DCs, such as strength-based melee attack rolls, strength-based damage rolls, and athletic checks. Fascinated, -2 perception and skills. Concentrate actions limited. Fatigued, -1 armor class and saves, no exploration activity while traveling. Flat-footed, -2 on your armor class. You're fleeing, must flee, can't delay, or ready. You got frightened. It says take status penalty equal to your frightened value to all your checks and DCs. At the end of each of your turns, the value of your frightened condition decreases by 1. -1, and then it says it right there again. For frightened. Grab, -2 armor class, flat-footed, can't move, DC 5 flat check to use manipulate actions. That's for grabbed. And then you got hidden. That's the last of this pack. Hidden. Enemies, -2 armor class. You're flat-footed. DC 11 flat check to target you. So that's your first deck of cards. Again, the fronts and the backs are identical. We'll put our instructions right on top of that pack there, and we have to open up our second pack, which looks like, oh, it has a little pull tab on this time. That's very helpful. Okay, so now we have the duration tracker. Let's take a look at those. You got a bunch of those. Looks like you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those. Okay. So condition value 10 to 1. And then over here it says duration tracker. 10 rounds, 1 minute. So 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So if you want, again, you can take this, throw this on here. You forget the instructions, obviously that's not what we're talking about. So we're doing hidden. How long are you hidden for? Well, 10 rounds, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 round. That's a good way to use that. I like that. Or value, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. There you go. Okay, that's interesting. Put that up there. Put our instructions over here. Bring our cards down over here. And then, of course, we have these duration trackers. Right, that's cool. I like that. It tells you how many rounds that it affects you for. That's cool. I like that. I do like that. I might even use this for Starfinder. That's very cool. That's cool. Wounded. Anytime you gain the dying condition or increase it, add your wounded value to the amount. The wounded condition ends if someone restores hit points to you with treat wounds, or if you are restored to full hit points and rest for 10 minutes. There you go. So that's wounded. We have undetected enemies, -2 armor class, flat-footed. You can't be seen or targeted. You're unconscious. -6 armor class, flat-footed, -4 perception and reflex. You're stupefied. Take a status penalty equal to the value on intelligence, minus wisdom, and charisma-based checks and DCs, such as will save, spell attack rolls, spell DCs, and skill checks that use these ability scores. Anytime you attempt to cast a spell while stupefied, the spell is disrupted unless you succeed at a flat check with a DC equal to 5 plus your stupefied value. So DC plus 5 plus value of flat check to cast a spell. You are stunned. You can't act, reduce value each time you would regain actions. You're slowed. You have fewer actions. When you regain your actions at the start of your turn, reduce that number of actions by your slowed value. Because slowed has its effect at the start of your turn, you don't lose actions immediately. If you become slowed during your turn, if you're both stunned and slowed, actions lost to slowed count towards stunned. You are sickened. Take a status penalty equal to your sickened value on all your your checks and DCs. You can't willingly ingest anything, including potions. You can spend this retching in an attempt to order, which lets you attempt a fortitude save against the DC of the effect that made you sick. On a success, reduce your sickened value by 1 or by 2 on a critical success. Minus this to all checks and DCs. That's recover and to attempt a recovery. So you can spend an action retching. So you can start throwing up to try to get the poison out of you or whatever caused you to get you sickened. Had too much alcohol, you throw it up. That's the idea. Or poison or whatever it might be causing you to retch or causing you to become sickened. All right, then we have restrained. You are -2 armor class and you're flat-footed. You can't move, attack, or manipulate except to escape or force open. Quickened. You gain 1 additional action at the start of each turn each round. You can use this action for only the specified actions listed. So you got quickened. You've been knocked prone. You get a -2 armor class, flat-footed, -2 to attack rolls. You can only crawl or stand, can take cover. So you've been knocked prone. You are petrified. You can't act or sense. You are an object. So you're frozen solid. Persistent damage. Take damage at the end of your turn. DC 15 flat check to recover. So let's read this one real quick. Take this damage at the end of each of your turns as long as you have the condition, rolling the damage dice anew each time. After you take persistent damage, attempt a DC 15 flat check to see if you recover. You or an ally can help you recover with a action activity, allowing you to attempt an additional flat check immediately. So this is persistent damage. Looks like maybe it's fire. Not sure. Paralyzed. Your body is frozen in place. You have the flat-footed condition and can't act except to recall knowledge and act in other ways that require only the use of your mind, as determined by the GM. Can't act except think. So when you're paralyzed, you can't do nothing, it says. So you must be paralyzed. Your entire body must be paralyzed. It's not just your arms or legs, it's everything. So you can only think and you can't speak. You're invisible. Enemies are attacking you at -2 armor class, flat-footed, can't be seen or targeted. You are immobilized. It's the last 2 cards. It says you can't move whatsoever. So these are all the cards that are included, and this concludes our unboxing of Pathfinder Condition Card Deck. Contains 108 cards, brought to you by the great people over at Pazio. For more information, go to pazio.com/Pathfinder. As always, thank you so much for joining us for this unboxing video. It's truly appreciated. If you enjoyed the video, you could always give us a thumbs up and leave a comment below. You also can hit that subscribe button. This way you're kept up to date as to any time we release new content to the page. As always, thank you so much for joining us. Be safe, be well, enjoy the remainder of the day, and we'll catch you on the next unboxing video.